Alright guys, what is going on? I'm Tubby Emu. Extreme Rules 2012 is in the books. This is the full results video. I'm going to break down everything that happened tonight on the pay-per-view. Make sure to leave a rating and a comment down below on what you thought of the show. But I'll give my rating a little later on. The show started out, and I'm not going to jump into the big parts like I normally spoil right away. The show started with a pre-show on YouTube. You guys could have watched it at youtube.com/WWE Fan Nation. It was Santino Marella taking on The Miz. Miz came out and complained how he saved Team Laurinaitis, put him in power, and now he's jobbing it, and he's all the way down, going for the mid-card title, and he's on the pre-show, and he said it doesn't matter what show he is, he'll be the one people are talking about. He had a match with Santino. Santino went for the Cobra, missed. Miz put him in the corner. Miz went for the running, kind of like a clothesline. He missed it. Santino hit the Cobra. Santino retained his title. Next up was Randy Orton taking on Kane, and this match was kind of reminiscent of Bragging Rights 2010, the way things went. It started off with Randy Orton and Kane going after each other. It was a pretty good match, I'm not going to lie. They went out where the ring corner is and made the full circle on the ground floor, and then they went up the stairs, they came back down the stairs, they went behind the stage, they came back out the stage, and actually when they were in the back of the locker room, Kane was beating up Randy Orton, was going to go for a choke slam. Zack Ryder comes in, showing how big of a jobber he is, starts beating on Kane. Kane throws him away. They come back out, and in the end, though, they were going after each other. They were going to put him through the table. None of the tables got broken except for later on in the night. And in the end, though, Randy Orton won. Randy Orton kicked out of a choke slam, and then Kane was going to use the chair, puts it down, was going to do a tombstone. Randy Orton reverses it, hits an RKO on the chair. Randy Orton beats Kane. Hopefully this feud is dead and in the water. Next up was a filler match. It was the Funkasaurus. They seem to never want to keep him off a pay-per-view. They're trying to get him over, I think. And he faced Dolph Ziggler. Came out with Mini-Me, by the way. Came out with Dolph Ziggler. Actually, I thought they put on a good match for how Brodus wrestles. They went out there and Brodus was shown kind of weak. It wasn't a quick match. It was a 4 or 5 minute match. But in the end, Brodus Clay won. Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger got involved by ringside. But in the end, Brodus Clay won with the What the Funk, or Your Mama, or whatever it's called, hit the splash and pinned him. They danced around for a while. Somewhere in there was a backstage segment about John Laurinaitis was talking on the phone, and Triple H calls in and says he wants to have a meeting. Teddy Long had a huge-ass name tag on at the pay-per-view. Before the match, there was a spinny thing, the spinny wheel to decide the stipulation for Cody Rhodes versus Big Show, and it landed on a tables match, and Big Show was laughing about, how are you going to put me through a table? And it's actually kind of funny because the shirts that were there to buy said tables match before the wheel was even spun. So obviously, it is rigged. They must have been pre-taped. Then came time for the match, Cody Rhodes versus Big Show. Very short match, 4 to 5 minute match. Cody Rhodes was getting beat up. Big Show was on the apron, and Cody Rhodes basically hit somewhat of a drop kick, and Big Show, without even thinking about it, was on the outside of the apron and just kind of like gets hit and then kind of steps down like he's just going to get off the ring, and with his foot, the weight of his foot goes through the table. Doesn't even do anything, just steps right through the table, and the ref has no choice but declare Cody Rhodes the winner. Cody Rhodes starts celebrating. The crowd was going crazy. And then Big Show comes in, goes full-on heel, beats the shit out of Cody Rhodes, choke slams him through a table, but that wasn't enough. Picks him up, puts him above his head, throws him outside through a table on the outside of the ring, and the crowd was just booing Big Show. They were so over Cody Rhodes. It is a wrestling town, and they were so over for Cody Rhodes that Cody Rhodes, when he stood up and the doctors were out there and he finally stood up on his own with the championship belt, he got a huge applause. Hopefully that keeps up, and eventually Cody Rhodes, when the main title picture is more open, we get to see him go for the title. Then came time for the match that I was most looking forward to, Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan had a backstage segment talking about being in Chicago, and the crowd was behind him, yes, chanting every single thing he said, until he started talking shit about Chicago, and it kind of went dull. Picked back up, and then as he was walking away at the end of the promo, AJ comes creeping. But she did not get involved in the match. It started off Sheamus and D. Bryan. The match didn't end in a quick pinfall. I actually thought it was a bit of a squish, because what happened was Sheamus and Daniel Bryan were going after each other. One hell of a match. It was about a 22-minute match. And Sheamus looked like he actually got his arm hurt. And, Daniel Bryan capitalized on it. And I think something really did happen, because Daniel Bryan was sitting there. He was just capitalizing, going after the arm. And he put Sheamus' arm on the rope and was just kicking him and kicking him and kicking him, and actually got himself DQ'd for the first fall. So that's how I think I knew something was actually wrong, and Sheamus probably wasn't able to complete the spot that they had set up originally. But then Daniel Bryant was able to get a submission. He put him in the label lock. Sheamus couldn't breathe. He basically passed out for a minute or two. The doctors came in, got him in the corner. Daniel Bryan, they restarted the match. Daniel Bryan came running in. Sheamus hits a brogue kick. Didn't get all of it, though. He only had one step to do it. Missed a little bit for the pin. Daniel Bryan kicked out. The crowd went absolutely crazy. The crowd was cheering Daniel Bryan. They wanted him to win. Daniel Bryan had a few chances, but in the end, Sheamus just became dominant. He went into that place. There was really no trickery after that. Sheamus hits a brogue kick, wins, retains his title. But Daniel Bryan had a huge pop. They were all cheering for him, so I don't think he'll have any problem staying over. Then came time for another bad segment I can't believe they put on the pay-per-view. It was just a filler match. Ryback. Backstage, they had Santino and Great Khali looking at the monitor. Aaron Relic and Jay Hatt and these two little guys were in there. Ryback comes out, and they were talking about a 2-on-1. It was a handicap match. The little dude was just getting the shit beat out of him, Aaron was. And Ryback drags him over and says, take him in. The dude's like, He tries to walk away. Ryback puts him in, hits a finisher on both of them. Ryback wins, feed me more type gimmick. 1 minute, 50 seconds on that match. And then came time for CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. Now, the crowd went crazy. It is a street fight, so I was a little surprised. Chris Jericho came out in jeans. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, it's a street fight. Never mind. Then CM Punk came out, and it was not as loud as the Money in the Bank pop. I was surprised by that, but it wasn't. They both had one hell of a match. It seemed like it could go either way. Went everywhere, in the ring. They had kendo sticks. They had chairs. They literally put on one hell of a match. During the match, CM Punk went for a go-to-sleep a couple times. Chris Jericho reversed it. During the match, Chris Jericho hit 2 code breakers, kind of half-ass code breakers. It seems like Chris Jericho's lost his edge on how to hit a code breaker. They were all little weak ones. He actually used one and got a chair code breaker, but that didn't keep CM Punk down. CM Punk fought back. Chris Jericho at one point poured beer all over CM Punk. That wasn't enough to keep him down. He's trying to beat him. He put him in a submission. But it's a street fight, so once Punk got to the ropes, he couldn't break it. And this is kind of the turning point in the match, I think. CM Punk was crawling out of the ring. He still got it locked in, grabs a fire extinguisher, and hits him with a fire extinguisher right in the face, and then hits him again. And that basically was the turning point. They went on to have one hell of a match. He hits a big elbow, and then a couple minutes later, he puts him on the table, on the Mexican announce table, Spanish announce table, hits a big elbow through that table, and once that happened, I knew it was over. Comes back in. CM Punk had the Anaconda Vice on. Still wouldn't tap out because he broke out of it with a kendo stick, but in the end, CM Punk hit a go-to-sleep for the win off the exposed turnbuckle in the corner. CM Punk is still your WWE champion, and his sister was ringside, so... Then came time for Nikki Bella to take on Beth Phoenix. It was announced earlier that Beth wouldn't be in the match, and then Karma had tweeted out saying, is it time for them to get Pain or Extreme? And later on, it was not Karma. Eve said, Beth can't compete. Beth was like, I don't care if I have to hobble out there. And Eve was like, no, you can't. And Nikki Bella was freaking out, and they're like, don't worry, it's not Karma. And I thought that was just Karma, But no, it wasn't. Nikki's out there. Layla returns tonight to the WWE. I was happy to see her back. The crowd was pissed. The crowd wanted Karma. The crowd was cheering, we want Karma, we want Karma. And it wasn't. It was Layla. Huge surprise to me. She had a gold, diamond-studded knee brace on. What a turn. But I love seeing her back. Twin Magic failed. Layla was able to get the title, not retain the title. What this means for the Bellas, I don't know. Where was Karma? And then came time for the main event, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar comes out in his MMA gear. Cena comes out to his normal theme song, not his Thugonomics, but he had the chain, and the chain, what a thing that would play in the match. As, of course, like people predicted, and even I predicted, Brock Lesnar, with his fist, not even using real weapons, just his fist, Cena rushed him, knocked him open. The first set, his elbow went and just knocked Cena the fuck open. And Cena was just bleeding crazily. He was just dripping blood. Looked like legit, like not a blade, because when he hit him, he started bleeding, and there was no hands up by his head at all. The doctors actually had to come in and stop it, because the WWE is trying to, keep the blood out. And eventually, I think they just let it go. Brock was pretty much just dominant through the whole thing. Cena went for the chain. Brock takes it away from him in a really dumb move somewhere in the middle of the match. Brock actually puts the chain, a huge chain, on Cena's two legs, and Cena acts like he couldn't walk with it. I thought it was really stupid. And then Brock puts him up in the corner on the ring post, hanging outside the ring with his feet holding in there, and Brock was just hitting him. It was just a slobber knocker. You could see Brock Lesnar beating the shit out of Cena. You're going to have to watch it. I can't really explain it, guys. It was one hell of a fight. And Cena was just taking punches. He tried to come back. He started to do the 5 moves of doom with his shoulder block. It knocks Charles Robinson out. Charles Robinson was out for probably 3 to 4 minutes. Brock still went after him. John Cena trying to fight back. Brock hits the F5, but there's no ref. There's absolutely no ref. And then eventually a ref comes down, counts, doesn't get a 3 count, and John Cena kicks out. Brock Lesnar beats the shit out of that ref, throws that referee out of the match, and none of the refs were willing to come in there. They were like 3 refs down there just as long as and they just let him do their thing. Brock brings the steps in. He putting Cena on it, puts him in a Kimura, trying to break his arm. Cena legitimately in this match, I think, tore his bicep or something in his arm. His arm after the match was just completely dead. And Brock tried to do some moves. John Cena fought out of it, hit Brock Lesnar, picks him up, slams him on the steps, goes in the corner to do the knee drop, the leg drop, misses. Brock rolls out of the way. Cena rolls out, grabs the chain from under. Actually, doesn't grab the chain then. And Brock actually does something like he did on the bulldozer, the thing years ago, where with the steps in the middle of the ring, he sees Cena on the outside on the apron. He gets up on the apron. Brock runs back against the rope, steps on the steps, jumps straight over the fucking thing, hits shoulder blocks John Cena. They both fall out of the rings. Brock looked like he messed up his knee quite a bit, and then he gets up and just laughs about it, goes in the ring, starts celebrating. John Cena gets up again, and just like at WrestleMania, he went one too many times to the same bag. This time, John Cena had the chain on him. Brock went at him. Cena stands up, punches Brock in the face, busts Brock Lesnar wide open. Cena is feeling it. He gets in the ring. He AAs Brock Lesnar on the steel steps that Brock brought in. Counts it. 1, 2, 3. John Cena beats Brock Lesnar with a ref knocked out twice. Everybody thinks this buries Brock Lesnar. Absolutely not. In my opinion, he could make a case saying if the refs weren't knocked out, he would have won. This does a lot of things. I think John Cena is going to be out for a while. He took the mic, kind of like the scripted, Goldberg moment from back in the day, and said, "I'm probably going to get sent home for this," but he's talking about it and said, "I'm going to be going home for a while anyway, I think, with my arm." He was hinting at it. And said, "Whether you love me, hate me," he said, "we go out here every night." The crowd got behind him and was just cheering for him. So whether or not John Cena is going to be out injured for a while, who knows? But one hell of a match. And this does not bury John Cena or Brock Lesnar in the slightest, in my opinion, guys. So I want to know what you think of Extreme Rules. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. That's what I think. I think it was a great pay-per-view. Couple dumb matches here and there, but CM Punk versus Chris Jericho was an amazing match. Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus was good, and then John Cena versus Brock just shows that John Cena's not Super Cena. He took a shit beating, and it was not like Over the Limit last year where Miz was beating up John Cena with Alex Riley, and Cena came back and did the moves and then made him tap. This was legitimate got the shit beat out of him, but got lucky because Brock tried to do one too many things. So I don't know what you guys think. Let me know what you thought about the pay-per-view, and leave a comment down below. Make sure to hit that rating button. My name is Tubby. Have a great night, guys. Tubby out.